Today, let's talk about one of Serbia's oldest clubs, founded in 1914. That's FK Vojvodina from Novi Sad. So this club was actually founded in secret by high school students. In 1914, large gatherings of Serbians was actually banned in the region by Austro-Hungarians. It was just months before the First World War was to strike off with the assassination of Franz Ferdinand in Sarajevo. So these students took the name of the club, Vojvodina, from the region in what is modern-day Serbia as a sign of what they wanted, Serbian equality within the Habsburg Empire. So they have a couple nicknames. Locally, they're just known as Voša, as well as for the fact that they're one of Serbia's oldest clubs, they're known as Stara Dama, which in Serbian essentially means the old lady. That's a pretty common term for clubs that are older around the world. You'll see that name shared with Juventus, as well as Hertha Berlin in Germany. And finally, because of their red and white, they're known as the White Reds. They very briefly wore blue at the beginning of their history, but they quickly took the red and white off of a club that the students had seen on tour that they really liked, that being Slavia Prague from Czechoslovakia. They also mimicked the badge as well as Slavia Prague, taking the star from that badge as well as the two colors, red and white, although they changed the star itself to be blue in order to have all three colors of the Serbian flag. As far as rivalry goes, pretty much any Serbian club is going to want to defeat Red Star or Partizan, which is very difficult. They are the two biggest clubs in all of Serbia, based both in Belgrade. As far as a specific rival for Voša, it's going to be North Serbian club Spartak Subotica. In Serbia and the former Yugoslavia, both Partizan and Red Star have been the dominant clubs alongside Dinamo Zagreb as well as Hajduk Split, so that means something when you can say that Vojvodina has won 2 titles, both during the Yugoslavian era in 1966 and more dominantly in 1989. That makes them one of only 4 Serbian clubs other than Red Star or Partizan to win a league title. It's equally hard to win the Serbian Cup for the same reasons, which means it's great they've won it twice in 2014 and 2020. On top of that, they actually had a pretty good stretch in the 70s and late 60s, seeing as they went to the European Cup quarterfinals in 1967, and they won 2 international trophies, the Intertoto as well as the Mitropa. Back a step, I mentioned that in 1989 they had a really dominant season. That goes off the fact that the 4 big Yugoslavian clubs that I mentioned, so Red Star, Partizan, Hajduk, and Dinamo, were all beaten by the club on the way to the title. As far as former players go, that 1989 season's leader was the late great giant of Serbian and Italian football as a player and a manager, that being Siniša Mihajlović, who passed away just in December this last year. He was incredible during that 1989 season, leading the club to that unlikely title before moving to Red Star Belgrade, where he was one of the instrumental players in their European Cup success in the early 90s, the only one ever won by a Serbian or Yugoslavian team. Voša are known for having a very good academy, bringing up some of the best young Serbian talent, with 2 names you might know currently being Dusan Tadić, who is currently the captain at Ajax Amsterdam in the Netherlands, as well as Alexander Kataj, who moved over to Red Star Belgrade and is a pretty key player for them. In that same vein of young talent in their current squad, keep an eye out for Mirko Topic to be one of the key members of the Serbian national team in the coming years, and he's just gotten his first cap for the national team recently. So that's your rundown on FK Vojvodina from Serbia.